Out here, big crowd. So I'm Chris Carlson. I talk about the way we think about how we're changing the world, and I actually don't feel entirely at ease with the Green Festival. Over a number of years, I've been here many times. It's a perfectly interesting event if you think about it. It's all these people coming together in what has been the common way for human beings to assemble themselves in the marketplace, in the agora, in the public commons. It's not quite entirely a public commons, since obviously it's indoors and you got to pay to get in, but they make a lot of free tickets available, so it's not so bad. But there's a bigger issue really around the Green Festival, which is that it's a space in which kind of a logic of our lives is getting reinforced. And I'm not here really to complain about the Green Festival existing. I obviously prefer to have better products than worse. A little tagline that I developed in the last couple of years talking about these things is, better is better than worse. Who could argue with that? And obviously if you buy something that's more ecologically sound than not, that's better. But is that enough? Are we going to really be able to change the world by shopping well? I would argue no. We're not really going to get anywhere near the heart of the problem. And it's kind of an interesting fact that the Green Festival, now it's twice a year, becomes one of the major activities for so many people who are expressing their politics through presenting products or buying them. And this is exactly the problem of our culture, is that we think we can reshape the world through the marketplace, through the buying and selling of human time and the products that humans make. And the real issue for us is to try to rethink not what we buy, but what we do. Because all day long, most of us go to some job. Most of those jobs are a waste of time at best. Many of them are actually destroying the planet, whether directly or indirectly, as we facilitate communication across the planet for large corporate webs or what have you. Even a lot of the nonprofit sector is involved in the economy in ways that are actually destroying the planet. So to figure out how we go from here to another place starts with a reconfiguration of our own subjectivity, our own way of understanding our lives. And if we go to the Green Fest without any critical sensibility, we tend to think that this is the moment where I'm changing the world. This is the moment where I'm participating in a movement of change. And actually what we're doing is reinforcing exactly the system that has got us into the predicament we're in the first place. And the only way out is not by buying better products. It's not a bad thing to buy better products. Fine, do it. But if you really want to change the world, we have to change what we do. And it's not just a matter of individuals getting a good job. There are no good jobs. There are very few. And most of us, even if we try to find one, aren't going to find one. So the real problem for us is how do we, as a society, as a collectivity, as a polity, begin to appropriate the social decisions over technology, over work, over the structure of the economy. What would be a green industrial policy? And let's face it, green itself is inadequate. A great deal of the earth is blue or brown. So getting fixated on this chlorophilia of green is already at the heart of the problem. It's this fetishization of very narrow decisions and narrow choices that fits very well with a consumer economy, but doesn't help us at all break out of the box that we're in. So one of the key issues as we go forward from this time in history is how do we begin to rethink what we do so that the world we make when we go to work all day long is the world that we choose. It's the world that we actually consciously decide to make, not one that we merely make because somebody gives us money to participate in it all day. And then we go home and on Sunday we go to the Green Fest or we go shopping at Rainbow or wherever, Whole Foods, and we think by buying those good products that we're nudging the world in the right direction. Well, not really. You know, capitalism's not unhappy with new markets. They love new markets, and it's an enormously adaptive system. And it's that system of slavery of which each and every one of us has to trade what we might do for what we're forced to do in exchange for money. And that logic, that deep logic, is at the heart of the catastrophe of the ecology of the planet. Until we begin to challenge it at that deep level, we're not going to make serious progress. Now again, better is better than worse. Buy better products, buy local, do your part as you can. You know, in the local economy, it's always better to do something local than not. And there's a lot of things people are doing on the ground in San Francisco and the Bay Area and even all across the planet that I think are worth noting. Bicycle co-ops, DIY bike shops, the community gardening movement, the organic farming movement, local produce. All these kinds of things are movements in the right direction. Even the whole movement towards free software and an incredible...
I'm going as hard as I can, but I'm hold on one second.